Welcome here to Rainbow Bar and Grill, Sidney, Ohio, host of the 50-plus years of Shelby County basketball. And right now we have none other than the Russia Raiders in the building. How we feeling, coaches?
Good. How are you?
Great. All right, good. Now we're going to let you guys introduce yourselves and how you fit into the Raiders program. All right.
I'm Brad Francis. I'm 1986 grad and been a varsity assistant for about 22 of the last 30 years.
All right. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us here.
Paul Remingen. I've been a head coach for 31 years from 85 to 2015.
Wow.
And also coached some JV and some freshmen, and I've been there 40-some years.
All right. Pleasure. Big Paul?
Spencer Cordonier, 1995 graduate of Russia High School. Born and raised, been there all my life. Played for Coach Bremingen and have either been the head coach or assistant coach since 2012, I think. 2012, yeah.
All right, Spence. All right, there it is.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, pleasure to meet you guys. And this would not be possible without our sponsors, so we got to shout them out one time, okay? We give a shout out to Ernst Apparel, Wear Your Passion, Buckeye Home Services, your first choice for professional home improvement. Superior aluminum products, a great place to work. Car Star, the auto body repair experts, air handling equipment, innovative industrial air compressor solutions, and of course, NK Telco and NKT Productions. Without these guys, this would not be possible, okay, guys? Now, when you think of Russia Raiders and you think of basketball, who and what do you think of?
I think mostly of the parents and the support of the community at such a young age, getting all the kids involved early on. In Russia we don't have a youth director or anything like that, so it falls on the shoulders of the parents, getting them started, coaching them up until, 5th, 6th, or actually until they get to 7th grade, and then, they hand them off to the junior high coaches and then on to high school. I mean, the community support is there every single year, and, the parents do a fantastic job of getting them ready to, compete at a high level in junior high.
I guess I think of just how hard our kids play. And so not any one individual, but I always tell our players, you guys are really easy to coach and you're really, really hard to coach. And the fact that you're really easy to coach because you just play as hard as you can all the time, but you're really hard to coach in the fact that we're only allowed to put 5 of you on the floor at one time. And we'd love to be able to put 8 or 9 or 10
7 on 7 out here.
I just feel when I think of it, it's just the effort that's given by our players at all times.
Coach?
I think there's just a trickle down from what our younger kids see out of our older kids. And like Brad and Spence said, once you have a seasons like these guys have had the last couple of years and we had in the mid-2000s, and we had a lot of success. Those little kids see that, and they are out there dribbling basketball in the middle of January, and they want to be there, and it makes coaching kids at Russia easy. And
so
yeah,
the tradition, the culture, that's what you guys.
And I might say it carries over to other sports also.
Yeah.
It's not alone in basketball. The tradition and culture and effort, all of that.
No question.
To piggyback on Brad there with that, he's saying that, it carries over. Well, our kids are probably 75-80% of them are 3-sport athletes because of the numbers that we have. So, yeah, it just feeds everything.
We had boys play in the golf state tournament, the basketball state tournament, and the baseball state tournament last year. But from August 1st to June 8th, they had 0 days off. As soon as one practice and the season ended, the next one started.
just conditioned to be multi-sport athletes, huh?
Right. There's
Raider-
no
Raider Nation.
personal trainers out of our kids. They don't go somewhere. They don't go somewhere and train, but get trained. They just go get after it from next one sport to another.
And do you feel like that helps them along their journey? Because we see a kid play one sport a lot, and he sometimes burns out in that.
Yeah.
You know, do you feel like playing multiple sports helps you in this era?
I think it keeps them fresh, ready for their next sport.
No one sport feels like a job to them. They
Because they don't have time.
right.
Yeah.
They don't have any time. They have to move to the next one
That's
mentally, which, like you said, it keeps you fresh. You're not thinking about the same thing over and over and over.
That's right.
And it gives you time to kind of breathe and kind of get away from a sport
Right.
for a little while, right? Now, story time. We love telling stories, guys. Now we know y'all have a story for us. Something. And whoever wants to start this conversation, please.
I want to ask Paul to start with how he got hired at Rushi Local School as basketball coach and phys ed teacher.
Here we go.
Well, I was in college. I was working at Kroger Bakery, which is the big bakery, and I had an appointment to interview over here at Rushi at 3:00, and I got off work. I worked like all night. Got off work at 1, and hopped in my car. I thought, oh, that's only 2 hours away. Well, I got lost. I was about half an hour late.
Oh man.
And so I ended up 2 weeks later getting a job. And so
better late than never, huh, Coach?
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Very fortunate. Yeah, very fortunate.
Now, when you get there, what's the vibe like?
Well, the superintendent, he wasn't real happy, but when I told him this whole story, I think he was kind of impressed that I had worked all night. And
Okay,
James,
so he gave you a little bit of slack,
he
huh?
gave me some slack.
Gave you some slack.
My story that jumps out to me is in 2002 when we won our first ever regional championship.
First ever, huh?
First ever, we beat Southeastern by 14 in the regional finals.
Where was that at?
At Miami, at Oxford, at the Lit Hall at Miami University, and we beat them by 14, I believe. But when we subbed out, and they subbed out first, as Paul remembers, but we turned around and looked at each other, and in the front row there were about 8 gentlemen, probably in their 50s and 60s, one being his grandpa, and we turned around, there were about 8 guys with tears in their eyes who had probably attended every Rushi basketball game for the past 30 and 40 and 50 years.
Wow.
And to see those guys that happy, it's a story that I'd like to share, and was very special. To see tears in those guys' eyes was really neat.
Do you feel like that was really one of the moments that elevated the program?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you make your first state appearance, it's going to do nothing but success breeds success and build the program. So.
I mean, to follow that up, in '95, when I was a senior, we got to the regional finals and got beat by Springfield Catholic. We were that close, and he was the head coach. He had been the head coach for 9 or 10 years.
Close game? Was it a close game?
Yeah, somebody decided to get in a little bit of foul trouble that night.
Oh.
I won't mention any names, but getting to that point and being that close, and that being the last game of my high school career. The memories that I have up for those 4 years, where and I tell my own kids at home now, I'd give my left arm to go back and play. I just told my daughter's a freshman, and I told her, I said, enjoy the next 4 years. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're never going to get these 4 years back. And I take that from my time. I say I would give my left arm because I'm right-handed. I'm not going to give you my right arm.
I need my shooting hand, man.
But, and what Brad was talking about with the older guys in their 50s and 60s in the front row. You know, ever since I can remember going to games, my dad coached with him in 85, 86, 87, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I was a ball boy. He was playing in 86. He was coach, he was playing, I was ball boy, and my dad was there. And I look across the floor, and my grandfather and great uncle and a couple other ones were staples there for, you know, the next 8-10 years to follow in Claire C. DeVoe Gymnasium. And then here come their kids. And they're, you know, you look at the 50-yard line, and it's the same faces. So I guess kind of a generational deal, but you know, it's just a very special time for Russia because we don't have football.
And that basketball going crazy though. Yeah, you guys are going crazy.
We've created a seamless process, so once the accident actually happens, to get you back in the vehicle as quickly as possible. The customer doesn't have to worry about much of anything. We have an estimator come out and dissect and really get into the pieces and parts of it. We do a quality inspection. Is now an office person looking at it as if the customer was looking at it. We don't hide anything from the customer. They're more than able to come out and look at the vehicle. If you ever get in a collision and you need us, just reach out to us, give us a call. It's 937-492-4783.
Some of the top players and coaches, right? You know, everybody has this conversation. Oh, he was, now, if he played in that era, or there's no way you stopping him, you know, in this gym, or, you know, there's always these conversations. But who did you guys see as some of the top players? And obviously, your coach. So,
for Russia or for other?
I mean, for Rushi. I mean, give me some players that really had an impact. Besides, you know, that one right there.
I think we go with groups of players, probably.
Like some teams, you know, there's a few teams that really made that impact.
02
right?
that went to state.
Okay.
They were a group that really, as the year went on, they just bonded and got closer together. Kind of like his year in '95.
Okay.
Very, very similar. Those two groups were very similar in that they just kept getting better and better as the year went on, and you know, not necessarily the most talented, but definitely the most team oriented, and didn't care about who got the credit, and you know, just wanted to win and put it all out there, and that's, you know, why they went so far. And you know, those two stick out. Now, probably, you know, there's been some groups, some teams I've had that have gotten a long way, and then, you know, it takes us an injury here or there, and to a kid that's one of your prime players, and you know, you just can't, you know, it makes it harder to compete.
Yeah, once you go, the farther you go,
you know,
the more your weaknesses are exposed.
And
you don't have
if you have a kid out, that just totally changes the whole chemistry of the team. And you have a starter out on a successful team. So.
I'd like to give a shout out to the team in 1999. Even though they went to regional finals in '95, we had not won a league championship in 23 years, 1976 to 1999. And I distinctly remember about a week before the season started in 1999, Paul laughed about this. We had 5 juniors start for the 97-98 school year. We had 5 starters. They were all juniors. And I think we went 7-14, if I remember correctly. And one of my friends at a poker game, about a week before the season started, told Paul, he said, I got some good news and I got some bad news. And Paul said, what's that? He goes, the good news is we have all 5 starters back. The bad news is we have all 5 starters back.
Oh,
and,
man.
And that was coming off a 7-14 season. And that 99 team went 12-0 in league.
Right.
Oh, what? The next
Yeah,
year, huh?
yeah.
And like Paul said, probably not the most talented team we've ever had. But one thing I want to add, without naming groups of kids, and they know who they are if they're watching it, the teams that get along the best off the court have just been the most overachieving on the court. And
What is it about that? The camaraderie. What is it about that? Is it, or is it just
they
a
don't
team
care.
by team
They don't
basis?
care who gets the credit.
Yeah.
They go out there and nobody cares who's scoring, who's doing this, who's getting minutes. They just go out and don't care about anything except getting dubs.
I had a similar team like that the year that he had stepped away in 2016. 2015 we had 10 seniors
Okay.
and 10 juniors, I think, 9 or 10 juniors, and all those juniors played JV. Nobody played any varsity.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
10 juniors play JV?
yeah, and we had a good sophomore group that year.
Oh, so it was just
So
loaded.
the JV year was kind of a mess just because there were so many kids, so many athletes. But that following year, we played mostly seniors,
Right.
and I think 2 juniors, and they came in with the attitude like, okay, we get one shot. We didn't get the shot the year
Last year.
before because of so many seniors in the 2015 class. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we went 12-0 in league.
Lig.
We went 12-0 in league,
Like,
and unfortunately we got beat in the sectional finals. We went 19-3 or 19-4
Yeah.
or something like that year. But they just came in day one and they got after it, and they knew that this was their one shot. So they took that and they ran with it.
overcoming adversity.
Well,
Have you had any teams where you're like, oh, this is not our year. This ain't gonna work. And somehow you get some juice somewhere, or maybe a silver lining in a season, or was it more just really on the court? You have some knuckleheads on the team or anything, or was it more?
we're probably all thinking.
Well, you guys won a lot of winning over here. Let's go then and now.
Wow.
Okay, let's go.
We have
then and
kind of a unique special situation when you ask that question. So
As far as-
I'll let Paul talk first.
As far as
2 years ago in October,
October.
Overcoming adversity?
head coach was killed in an automobile accident.
Oh wow,
And
prayers.
Spencer was the assistant,
Wow,
and there was really, it was
devastating.
yeah, it was devastating for everybody, and the kids, and it's just something that shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
And the kids really, and the credit to these guys. I wasn't coaching then, but credit to these guys that I don't know. They used to probably talk about how the kids bounce back and everything because I wasn't there.
yeah.
But it was just
How does
we miss him so much.
How has the community rallied around staying positive and moving forward with this? And how have you guys come together as a unit?
It's still
Yeah, like Paul said, we do miss him
Yeah,
still to this day, and we'll always miss him. I mean, his kids are close to my kids, and kids are resilient. They bounce back quicker than adults do. You know, when we got the news that he had passed, we were actually in the weight room with him. And pulled him out, told him, and shut things down for the day. And it took a toll on them.
Yeah.
And you know, throughout the season, and you know, it was a constant reminder all year, and we tried to make sure the best that we could that, you know, that they concentrated on the task at hand, but did not forget what was lost. And you know, it ended up being a very, very special season because of the unselfishness that the kids showed.
Yeah.
You know, throughout the year, and you know, got to our second state appearance that season. You know, 2 seasons ago. I don't know if you want to add anything.
I don't know if we mentioned Dave's name, Dave Borchers, who was a classmate of mine all throughout grades K through 12, and I went to University of Dayton with him and coached with him for 20 years, and a dear friend. And I think in a couple interviews, whether it was Spencer or myself or whomever, we were a really story for anybody throughout the state, but we're like, you know, we'd rather be 0-22 and have our friend back. And it's not even close. I mean, it's not even close to being close. Having said that, when you talk about resiliency, it was probably one of the greatest examples of a group of basketball players or student athletes being resilient, and they're to be commended for how they performed. Also,
I would say that's about as adverse as adversity gets.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
amazing.
think there was anything that would come close.
No.
Well, we're praying for you guys and stay strong. And Mr. Borchers, we're praying for his family. I had my own, you know, sudden, unfortunate, you know, deaths happen. So when things like that are so close to you, it leaves a hole in your heart, kind of leaves you empty, but you understand you have to do it for a purpose, right?
and he would definitely be up here with us. He'd be sitting right here up with us tonight.
No question.
He
No
was
question.
in the program for.
There was no way that we'd be sitting up here talking about the success that we had. You know, he was a JV coach for me for 18 or 19 years, and he prepared those teams. I don't even know what his record was and what it ended up, but it was an outstanding JV record, and he prepared the kids for varsity. And there's no way that I would have the success, or Bruce would have the success without him doing that. And you know, he was just a quality man, and we'll miss him a lot.
We'll have to live in his honor and continue to bring.
We're getting a beautiful new gymnasium this year, and it's on the court. It's going to say David G. Borchers Memorial Court. So
there it is.
It's going to be really neat.
No question. We're definitely going to clap it up for that one for sure. Definitely going to honor him, and we will be looking forward to seeing that. We're definitely looking forward to seeing that.
New Knoxville Supply Company, the supply source for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. We specialize in plumbing products from many name brands, electrical products from replacing a light switch to rewiring an entire house, heating, air conditioning, and geothermal products, sheet metal ductwork, installations, and service. We are now housing more inventory, so all the hardware items you need to complete the job are available right away. New Knoxville Supply. Stop in, call, or check us out online at newknoxvillesupply.com.
Hometown Opportunity serves Mercer County, Auglaize County, Darke County, and Shelby County.
The website as a whole is pretty user-friendly. I was able to filter down my options, see what types of jobs were out there for me in the area.
It really opened up my eyes to the employer market around here.
We know that our local candidates, a lot of times are most successful candidates because they want to come here and stay.
It's become the go-to site for anybody looking for a job in the region.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
Now, coaches, then and now, right? Game's changed. Changed a little bit. Do you like the changes, and what was it like coaching, and do you like what you're seeing out here now?
I'll go. There's been a lot of change in athleticism, obviously.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's kind of
yeah.
The average kid now is dunking and running fast. Yeah. Everybody has trainers now.
So when I played for him, I mean, I don't remember all of what we were trying to do. All I know is that I really like to play fast. Okay. And just get a shot up and let's go. Well, so I guess, when I took over for him, I followed his footprint, and for those 3 years, and I used the mentality, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I went with what he had taught and what he was preaching, and the last couple years we've kind of been like, okay, let's stay out of the way a little bit and just let these guys go. They love playing that way. They do have a little bit of structure, but there's nowhere they have to be at any certain time. And if you have the athletes to say, okay, go be athletes, then yeah, I mean, by all means. But it doesn't happen that way all the time at Rushi when you got 32 kids in a graduating class. There isn't any cutting. There isn't, here's your team. Here's your team. What are you going to do with them?
Right. You have to build. Then and now, what do you think, coaches? Then and now, how's the game changed? Are you liking it?
Well, when I started, there was no 3-point line.
No threes.
No threes.
So long twos, coach.
And what we talked about. We talked about Dave, who played for me. He was one of our better shooters, and so from the outside, he had quite a few threes. So that changes. I mean but the three has definitely made it interesting. But the physicality, like I said, that there's just people just the banging. When I first came, if you bump somebody on a dribble, it was a foul, and now it's a lot more physical.
Yeah, you got to bump back.
Oh yeah, you got to hold your ground.
You got to hold your ground or bump back.
Yeah.
One of my first memories of Shelby County basketball was the Rushi at Watkins game in about 77 or so. I believe the score was 105 to 103. And in the small gym, the kitchen. But I just remember some of those gyms were just so small that somebody could stand there in a 2-3 zone and take up about the whole floor.
Oh, man.
And they didn't have players like Jim Boeheim did at Syracuse.
Is it people all around the gym? I mean, it's like standing room, basically.
Yeah,
people standing against the walls.
My brother told me a story about 1971 when Rushi played Fort Laramie, and Laramie was number one in the state. That there was all the out of bounds was lined by kids, and anytime you had to take the ball out of bounds, there had to be about 6 kids move out of the way.
Oh man!
In some of those small gyms. So.
Now we got some nice gyms now.
Oh yeah.
We got some nicer gyms. A lot of threes going up now, though. A lot of threes.
Yeah.
Truly been an honor to have you guys on. I know there was one thing that you did want to say.
We talked about Dave.
We talked about
it.
So
we was going to save that for the end if we did not discuss it. So.
Well, we'd like for you to go ahead and say something to the Rushi community, if you'd like to say something.
I'd just like to thank them for everything that they've done personally for me. Followed our program, been great fans. They've just been outstanding. We're getting a new gym and that's going to be a little bigger than what we got now, but not huge. And so hopefully they can make some noise.
Enjoy that gym, huh?
Yep, that's right.
You know, those
Air conditioning probably in that gym.
Our gymnasium has been loud for many, many years. You can ask any one of these guys that's coached there, and that's brought their teams over. I mean, it's loud as can be, and they make it a very difficult place to play for the opponent. And you know, that's the parents and the students and the athletes all just coming together on a Friday or Saturday night, and you know, they've been supporting Rushi High School boys and girls basketball for years, and I doubt if that ever changes.
And I'm going to go a little different direction. I'm going to talk about the entire Shelby County League with everybody being here these 2 days. I believe it has not changed. There's not been an addition or subtraction for 72 years. Since the 1952 season, I believe. I looked it up on Bob Weiss's book. And it probably is the only league in the state of Ohio that's still intact with no additions or subtractions. And who knows, it might be the only league in the United States of America like that. And the success that we've had, I think I went back and looked at some notes the other day that I think 6 of the 7 schools made an appearance in the state Final Four between 1993 and 2012. So 6 of the 7 schools went to state in a 20-year span, and
that's amazing.
Big shout out! And we always tell our kids it's really hard to win in this area of the state with who we play night in and night out, and every sport, not just basketball, but every sport. And kudos to the parents and kids of not only Rushi but the entire area for. And we want one any other way. You don't want it to be easy to win. You want it to be really hard, and we're really proud to be a part of that.
Rushi Raiders, man.
Okay. Thank you.
It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to having more dialogue with you guys. All right. Special thanks to our sponsors one more time: Ernst Apparel, Buckeye Home Services, Superior Aluminum Products, CarStar Air Handling Equipment, NK Telco and NKT Productions, and a major shout out to the Rainbow Bar and Grill for letting us have us here at this establishment. Raiders, appreciate you guys one more time. Cash&Clarks presents 25 years of Shelby County. We'll be back here in a moment. Don't go away.